Good evening and welcome to episode 9 of our series 2 of Ox Sports Unleashed. Thanks for joining us wherever you are, whether it's in your bedrooms, your jacuzzis, your sheds, your greenhouses, wherever you are. Thanks for joining us on this quite horrible Thursday evening, live from Oxford Downs Cricket Club, with an exclusive tonight. Exclusive. Very exciting. We have a golden envelope here.
Ooh, Willy Wonka.
It is a bit like that. Don't call me that again. Anyway, moving quickly on. Packed programme tonight. Our normal programme, bits and pieces with Lock, Lyon and Ryde, and highlights from all local football, all the roundup results, a little bit of rugby from Chinner, and also some ice hockey for Oxford City Stars. So, lots to get through tonight, but an exclusive that we're very excited about, Witney Town FC naming their ground. Exclusive to Ox Sports Unleashed. Can't get this anywhere else.
Exciting stuff.
Very good. Very good.
And the Witney Town manager, Ben Reardon, will be joining us in the studio for an interview, and it will be Ben that will open the golden envelope and will announce the name of the ground live on the show. So please stay with us.
It's a first.
It is definitely a first. So please stay with us. We'll be here for the next hour, and we'll start, as we always do, with the football from the weekend. And Oxford City were at home to Farsley Celtic on Saturday in the National League North, looking to bounce back from back-to-back defeats away to Buxton and away to Chester. They were at home to Farsley Celtic from Leeds at the M Group Stadium, as we now need to call it. And here are the highlights, followed by an interview with Ross Jenkins.
Ross, a 4-1 victory over Farsley Celtic today. Much more like it, pretty much dominant from the start to the end. But what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'll probably agree with that. Real good display, honest display. We tweaked things slightly with the personnel, and the boys worked their socks off today, and rightly so, because we had to make sure we was on our guard today, because Farsley are a difficult team to play against. but I thought we got a spot on today. The only disappointing factor, I think, was the goal we conceded at the end. I think it's a lack of sort of concentration in the last moments. To get that clean sheet was massive, and I was really, urging the players to aim for that. And we were so close, but in terms of the overall performance, it was pretty much first class, and we probably should have scored many more goals. But the effort and application from everyone today was spot on.
A very upbeat Ross Jenkins there after a good win at home. First one since he's returned to the M Group Stadium. So well done to him. A little bit disappointed that they conceded a goal in the 94th minute. But other than that, a happy manager for a change. So out of the bottom four. So well done to Oxford City. Hopefully they can put a run together now and see them climb up the table if possible. Yeah, that would be nice if they could. But anyway, that takes us round to our local roundup of all of last week's fixtures. And that's normally by Lock, Lyon and Ryde, or as I like to call them,
Here we go.
Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia and Han Solo.
Every week.
Yes, well, welcome to this edition of Lock, Lyon and Ryde with Patrick Locker and Paul Lyon, and I'm Colin Ryde. And we start with Paul Lyon. And Paul, a very good weekend for Whitley Town Football Club.
Yes, Colin, we had the return fixture against Summertown Stars. They gave us a tough game when we played them a couple of months ago. I think we won 3-2, I think it was, by one goal. But yesterday was 8-0, which shows the improvement in the team. Despite having a few of our major players injured, we brought a few youngsters in, and the 8-0 win cemented our position at second in the table. Looking good at the moment. We've got a decent squad, we're playing well. Admittedly, we've got a lot of home games at the moment, which helps on the 3G pitch. I don't know how we'll perform, Colin, when we play away on the muddy park pitches that we've got coming up soon. But we're going well at the moment.
That's good. And of course, Oxford United had a slightly better weekend they did than the week before last, Paul. But they left it late to took back an equaliser in a 1-1 draw against high-flying Millwall that also stopped their losing run. So important to get that sort of, I suppose, rid of that losing streak, wasn't it?
Yeah, massive goal at the end by Tyler Goodrum in front of 11,000 fans. That must have been a great atmosphere there, because Millwall always bring a good following, don't they? And I can remember the good old days of the past against Millwall at the old Manor Ground, and we had some good battles against Millwall in those days. So, yeah, it was a good result for United in the end to get the late equaliser, and hopefully that might give them a bit of confidence to get a few more points, because they're starting to slip down the table a bit now.
They are indeed. But Patrick, you witnessed a National League North basement 6-point battle. Oxford City coming out on top, sir.
Yeah, it was a fairly comfortable afternoon, really. I mean, Farsley did get a goal, but it was pretty much of their only attempt of the game, really, in the 94th minute. So, yeah, very routine afternoon for City, and one which is much needed, actually. Ross Jenkins hasn't won at home in the league since he came back. So, yeah, good to get a win there, and obviously big to get a result against the teams in and around you in the table.
And Banbury United didn't get a result, Patrick, but they do get full marks for actually getting a game on Saturday at home to Lowestoft, because their ground was underwater for most of last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. The pictures that were coming out on Monday, Tuesday, wasn't it? I think were remarkable, and I think people were saying that it's the most water they'd ever seen around the ground, and couldn't ever see that the game was ever going to be on in a million years. You thought for the next probably 3-4 weeks that they wouldn't get a game on, but yeah, for some reason in Banbury, the water just seems to disappear as quickly as it arrives at that ground. So a lot of water, but then disappeared, and yeah, obviously what was underneath the water was very much playable. But like you say, perhaps maybe they did wish it was called off, because they lost to 2 Joe Duffy goals, and has Lowestoft won 2-0 there. Just 2 points in November, actually, so not a good run of form, and they've dropped to 14th in the league in over the past few weeks.
And Paul, I suspect the Didcot Town would have quite liked their game to have been called off. Long old trips down to Cornwall, and Mousehole beaten 5-0 by 10-man Mousehole. And in the end, I think that Didcot themselves, through frustration, were reduced to 10 men. So I bet that coach journey back from Cornwall wasn't a good one on Saturday night, Paul.
No, definitely not. Reminds me of the days of going to Truro for Oxford City, and yeah, that was an overnight stay often for us. But yeah, Muzzle is the place they went to, and it's a hell of a long trip. And to lose 5-0, it makes it even worse. And when you're coming back and you've managed to get a result, obviously you feel much better about it, and it's okay. But when you get absolutely smashed by 5 goals and you've got to make the journey back, it can't be fun. And also with the weather being what it is, it was the game going to be on or off? That's the other thing to consider. And I can remember as well at Oxford City having some of these really long journeys and the game being called off when you arrive, which is a bit of a nightmare. But they went all the way down there. At least they've not got to go there again this season, hey?
Yeah, so that's a small mercy, Patrick. And we haven't heard from Jamie Heap. I suppose he's lost for words on this one, isn't he, Patrick?
Yeah, usually you can get an interview from him after the game, but not one this week. So, yeah, I imagine he's not a good journey back, as Paul said. And yeah, certainly when you go as a away fan and you've lost heavily on the road, it's the car journey always seems about 10 times longer than when you've won.
Okay, Patrick, take us through the rest of the local football results, please, Patrick Lock.
Yeah, it's been largely positive, actually, the results from this weekend. And Tame United kept up their fine run of form. Curtis Brown and Oliver Hogg scored twice to see them to a 2-0 win at Beaconsfield Town. It's 2 wins in a row, which keeps up their pressure on the playoff places. They're in there on goal difference at the moment, and they're still 5th, and the team below them in 6th are still on the same number of points. But obviously, it's a critical point of the season to pick up those points to stay in and around there. So yeah, going well for Tame. Kidlington, they got a point as well. They got a 1-1 draw away at Ware. Charlie Bacon scored with about 20 minutes to play after going 1-0 down. Again, their form is starting to improve. They're starting to get a few points here and there. They're still 17th in the league in the relegation places, but only 4 points adrift to safety now. So who knows, a couple of quick wins and they might start getting themselves out of trouble. It was another tough day for Northley, though. They were beaten 4-0 away at Barton Rovers, so they remain bottom of the league, unfortunately. In Step 5, unfortunately, not much to really write home about this weekend. In the Combined Counties League, Wallingford and Crowmarsh were beaten 4-1 by British Airways, and Ardley were beaten 2-1 by Wokingham Town. And Easington's tough run of form in the United Counties League continued. They lost 2-0 at Amesbury Rovers. Hellenic Division 1, though, at Step 6, it was a much, much better story with an unbeaten weekend for our sides. This was headlined by a 7-0 win for Aberdeen United against Newent Town. Goals came from 6 different players, actually, so I'll name them all, so it might go on for a while. Casey Highmore gave them the lead before Nat Robinson scored a brace. Following that, Josh Richardson got on the score sheet before an own goal made it 5-0, and then to round it off, Harry Walters scored the 6th and John Mills scored the 7th with a goal that rolled back the years I've seen. So yeah, that was a huge win for them, which sees them actually in second in Hellenic Division 1. So it's good to see them back at the top of those divisions and hopefully push back up the league. Just below them, actually, Wantage Town, they beat Cheltenham Saracens to make it 7 wins in a row. So they're 3rd in the division. Seem to be mentioning him every week, but Steve Robertson scored again, and he got the only goal of the game to see them to victory there. Clanfield were also victorious. They beat Bewdley Town 2-1. George Seacole and Tiger Hall got the 2 goals for them there. And Kidlington Reserves capped off the unbeaten weekend for our sides. They got a point in with a 1-1 draw with Ludlow Town. Kenzie Taylor scored the goal there. On Sunday, there was a couple of games. Abingdon United Women, they were beaten 1-0 away at Keynsham Town in the Women's National League Division 1 Southwest. But it was better news for Oxford City Women. They beat Sholing 4-2 at the M Group Stadium. Ellie White headlined with a hat-trick. Again, a player that we seem to be talking about hat-tricks most weeks. Izzy Bradley grabbed the other, while Sholing grabbed a couple of late consolation goals once City were 4-0 up. City remained second in the Southern Region Women's Football League to Ascot United. They won as well. So, yeah, but keeping up with the points for them. So that's what happened this weekend, Colin. Back to you.
Thanks a lot. And Paul Lyon, are you sitting comfortably, sir?
Yes.
Right then. Now, your question, sir, it feels like mastermind, and I wish I had the music in the background. Where and who are Whitney Town playing this weekend, Paul?
Another home game, Colin. Gordon Way, Whitney, 2:00 kickoff, and it's Oxford Irish this week. Hoping to keep up the good run of form. We played Oxford Irish earlier in the season. I think it was about 8-1, 8-2, I think. Hopefully we can win again and keep up the good run we've been having lately.
Is Christian back at the side, do you think?
No, he should be back this week. He had a slight injury a couple of weeks ago. When you get to our age, Colin, it takes a bit longer to get better, doesn't it? You know. And, but yeah, we're hoping he'll be back this week. And when he's back, obviously that makes us a little bit stronger. So yes, it's looking good at the moment.
All right, thank you very much indeed to Paul Lyon and Patrick Lock. And now back to the main studio for much more Ox Sports Unleashed.
Thanks there to Luke and Leia, or formerly known as Lock, Lyon and Ryde, for that wonderful roundup of last week's football action. And obviously the Banbury, we've got to mention the Banbury flooding, how they got a game on there, who knows, but all the volunteers and work, how they got that to be playable is unbelievable.
Well, it floods quite a lot in the winter, but they said they'd never seen flooding like that. It was 3 or 4 feet deep on the Tuesday, and then by the Saturday it was playable, and perhaps they wished it wasn't playable because they ended up losing 2-0 to Lowestoft, and they're in a bit of a rough trot at the moment. And I know the manager is coming under a bit of fire at the minute from the Banbury supporters. And I'm not hopeful for this weekend with the rain outside. Maybe the river might once again encroach on the ground, but time will tell.
Yes, that takes us not far. We're not long away from our exclusive interview with Ben Reardon, Whitney Town FC's manager, and also obviously the unveiling of the new name of the ground, which we're all quite excited about as a first here at Ox Sports Unleashed. So the golden envelope is still there, so we'll be looking forward to that. But obviously we're going to go to some action from Whitney Town. They were in action at the weekend at their home ground against Summertown Stars, and we've got the action for you here.
He's been...
Take up the toe, good and play. Yeah! I dare you.
Come on.
Let you sit here near me, Fred. I'll watch the highlights.
Let's lift it up. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Go on, Jack.
Clifton's way forward in Bristol, mate.
I do. I like Bendix as well.
Yeah.
Send him off!
But he knows see, mate.
I was in all though, I wouldn't have caught that. I wouldn't swing it in there. Come on if you need. Come on if you need.
Steve, good performance today. 8-0 win versus Summertown Stars. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, delighted with that. We said coming out of last week that we're hitting a good run of form. Really pleased with 3 on the bounce coming into today. We've worked hard on possession recently, keeping the ball, moving the ball quickly, and we just tried to look at a penetrating pass, trying to get ourselves on the back foot, committing opposition defenders and sort of travelling a little bit faster with the ball. Today we've done that brilliantly. We knew it was going to be a difficult game. We knew we had to do the right things well early doors. We've earned the right to play in the second half just by moving the ball quickly in the first half, wearing a team out, and then just proving our quality at the end.
That's Steve Potts there reflecting on Whitney Town's 8-0 demolition of Summertown Stars in the Oxfordshire Senior League on Saturday. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that Darryl has made way, and joining me now is the Whitney Town manager, Ben Reardon. First of all, Ben, thanks for coming in this evening. Really
thank
good
you for
to
having
see
me.
you. We just really wanted to have a chat to you about the season so far, but we have got in this envelope the name of the stadium, which you don't know.
I don't know.
We'll unveil that at the end.
Okay.
Thanks very much to the community of Whitney Town for voting throughout the day. Paul Foster was leaving me on tenterhooks as well, and eventually sent me the name, and we'll reveal that at the end of this interview. So Ben, first question really. You started the season with some tough games at the start, a very new side. Obviously, the defeat at Didcot in the pre-season friendly, but you must be pretty happy with how things have gone so far. Second in the league and flying at the moment.
Yeah, extremely pleased, Kieren, to be honest with you. I think that when you start afresh and you're building a squad, it's really tough in pre-season when not everyone's had the minutes that you want them to.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, we had a awakening at Oakley, first game of the season. They're very established, fantastic at this level. They're great at their place as well. They know how to play on that pitch. They're very direct, they're strong. And it was almost like a lesson learnt. And we spoke after the game, and there was 2 things. I said to them, we could either carry on the season as we was, and there'd be a lot of lows, a few highs, but the bigger picture is we've got a team back on the pitch, fantastic achievement. Or we can get back to the training pitch, we can work really hard, it will bring us together, and I guarantee you if we do that, in 10 games time, we'll look at this, and this will be where we've learnt our lesson from. And to be honest to them, give credit where it's due. The lads have been absolutely fantastic, and that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, you look at Oakley, you look at their record so far, it's no disgrace to have lost to them first game of the season, and it was a completely new venture, wasn't it? But you turned that around really, really quickly, got onto a really good winning run. You're currently in second place in the table, and really, with the exception of Oakley, who are doing really, really well at the top of the league, you're there or thereabouts, looking to maybe get that promotion in the first season.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to stay humble, and we're still going to work hard, because there's a long way to go. If we get to Christmas and we're in that promotion place, then fantastic. Like I said, there's a long way to go, so we still need to work hard. But I think that showed in the last game when we played Summertown. Yeah. We went in at half time and we were 2-0 up, and I wasn't very happy. And I told the lads that, we need to really step it up now, because we can't take our foot off the gas, because we were coasting. And look what they did. They came out, they scored 6, so they reacted really well. So it just shows the environment that we've got set already in that group of people. Mm-hmm. There's no egos, there's no attitudes. Everyone wants to work hard and everyone wants to get promoted. But there's a long way to go still.
I was going to ask, is it quite tough having the name Witney Town? Because I guess that all the teams that you're playing, even though you're staying grounded and you want to stay grounded and it's a very young side, the teams that you're playing will see Witney Town as the opponent, and that you're a bit of a scalp that everybody wants to take, aren't you?
Yeah, I think especially when they come to our place, it's like a cup final for them. They look at the setup, everything's ready when they're turning up. We're on the 4G, there's a dugout, there's 2 dugouts, sorry, they're turning up and they're giving a programme. The setup's fantastic. So I think that inspires them to up their game. But for us, we have got a very young side. A lot of them don't know the history of Witney Town, which is quite good in a way, because they're just enjoying their football and they're just playing freely like they should be.
Yeah, and it's a really young side, isn't it? You were talking to me just off air a minute ago. You got some 16-year-olds in the side, some 18-year-olds. You played the other week. Obviously, you probably brought the average age up slightly. But it's a really, really good young side, and they play some really good football.
Yeah, we tried to. We tried to play football the right way, and I think, especially at home on that 4G surface, like when I first came in, I said it'd be criminal if we didn't play football the right way on there. Yeah. So we do try. But, we've spoke a lot about the youth in the side, but I actually think that the experienced players have been absolutely fantastic. And without them, those youthful players wouldn't have been able to accomplish what they've done already. A lot of them, it's their first time playing men's football. And to do that, the coaches can say something on the side, but when you've got a few coaches on the pitch reiterating what you're saying, it really helps them come along. So it's been really good.
And you've got some good coaching and you've got some really good experience. Chrissy Allen obviously made his debut a few weeks ago, got a yellow card for dissent, I think, and got sin binned, and he's been out for a little while with a bit of an injury, but I gather he's close to getting back to fitness again. Having somebody like Chrissy Allen in the side alongside those youngsters, it must be fantastic for the kids to sort of learn from somebody that's been right to the top.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the chance to include Chrissy Allen at any age into your squad, you're going to do so, aren't you? I mean, I'm fortunate that I've played with him and I've known him as a person for a long time. He's a fantastic guy. So he's came into the side. Bearing in mind that a lot of the younger players are probably hearing from their dad how good he was. They have no idea who he was, which is amazing, really, considering what he's achieved in football. Yeah. But I've asked him to play left back. I've asked him to play up front. He turns up to every training session. He gives it his all, but he's playing like he's fighting for a contract. So, to have that in your squad is just incredible, really. And it speaks volumes of him that he wants to come and play for me.
We haven't touched on it yet, but you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago in one of your post-match interviews. The support from the local community, the fact that the Facebook group's absolutely blossoming. There's nearly 2,000 followers. You're getting crowds in excess of 100 most weeks. Even on that really wet week a couple of weeks ago, you were just shy of 100, which is a lot more than a lot of the local Southern League clubs are getting. The support at the moment is second to none, and understanding that there's a limited capacity at the ATP, it's fantastic to see that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think that just speaks volumes for the directors. The hard work that they're putting off the pitch is just unbelievable, and it filters down throughout the club. And I think everyone wants to be a part of it, whether you're following us online, whether you're coming to games. It's amazing to see. And we've actually got people that have turned up to games from London. that, you know, you've got family members and they've came once and they come most weeks now because they're like, oh, it's only an hour and a half away, I'll come and watch a game, and they love it. So yeah, the support has been absolutely different class.
It's brilliant, and it's a real community feel, isn't it? I saw this week gone, you've raised something like £2,200 for Tough to Talk. You know, that sort of community spirit, if you like, is really important, because you've got a lot of backing from companies and from the community, but you want to give something back to the community, which is what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I said earlier that we want to get promoted and we want to play in a certain way, but I think to get a football team back in Witney playing again, a senior side, is amazing. But over that, what we're doing, what the directors are achieving off the pitch with the food banks, with, you know, mental health charities. We have a Monday night football five-a-side team that goes on, and anyone's available and welcome to play if they are. There's so much going on that's incredible, and yeah, I think the results are one thing, but what's happening off the pitch is more important for me.
And I know that we can't say too much at the moment, but there are exciting ventures around the corner. Some exciting news will be around the corner. I know that, speaking to Paul Lyon frequently, we'll be able to announce other things, but it's sort of baby steps at the moment, isn't it? Sort of, you know, the first step was getting the club reformed last year, which Paul Foster and his brother and all the other people that helped him get it reformed. The next dream was to get that first game, which was at Didcot. Next dream is to compete in the C League, which you are doing. So there's a lot to look forward to over the coming year or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the foundations are put in place already for that to happen. And although we're only just starting out, I feel like, especially on the pitch, I feel like we're probably half a season further forward than is expected at this point already.
Yeah,
you know, we're second in the league, we're in the quarterfinals of the County Cup, but off the field, you know, we're raising a lot of money for charities, we're raising a lot of money for the club while we're doing it, we're getting the support, the backing's there. So yeah, I think everything's just going really smoothly at the minute.
You stole my thunder, because my next question was going to be that County Cup. So you've got into a quarter-final in your first year. You've got a really tough game coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously, Oxford Irish at home this weekend, and then a trip and away game to a really established Senior League Premier Division side in Launton Sports. That will be a really good gauge as where the club is at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. I just hope that this weekend we don't pick up any injuries, because we've got a really strong squad.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this game. We can only look, you know, one game at a time. So Oxford Irish will be a really tough one. But if we can just stay injury free and we can take a really strong squad to Launton, I think that, yeah, I don't see why we can't go there and get a result, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And it'll be really a real sort of test. Obviously, we know that because, as we said, an established side, but it will see where you are. My final sort of question before we do the big announcement is really around, if you were given a piece of paper at the start of August and the piece of paper said you're going to be in second place come Christmas in your first season back, what would you have thought of that? Would you have said, yeah, I'll take that? Or would you have said that's a little bit too much of a dream? Or how do you feel on that?
I mean, if you look back to our pre-season, I mentioned before, a lot of the players didn't get the minutes that I would have liked.
Yeah.
And that's what pre-season is all about, because we had a lot of trialists, we were trying to, you know, put a squad together, so it was really tough to gauge. So then we went to Oakley and we lost heavily. I kind of think that now, 100%, I would take that all day long. It's it's a really good achievement for everyone.
Brilliant. Good stuff. We'll have one more question just before we go. But before we do that, we have got an announcement to make, which was plugged earlier on. Thank you to Paul Foster for allowing us to have this exclusive. Ben doesn't know this answer either, but we have had a poll that Paul and the club have been running throughout the day to give the home ground at Witney, the Witney ATP, an unofficial name, if you like. And there were lots of options. The blanket box was Darryl's personal favourite. I think the Herbert Smith Stadium, named after, of course, the only Witney Town player ever to go on to play for England. But there has been a vote, and it's been a decent number of votes, Paul has told me. So without further ado, with our Jiffy bag, which is actually a golden envelope, as Darryl called it, if you want to open that and announce the unofficial name of the Witney Town Stadium for the rest of this season.
Get the drum roll going.
Get the drum roll going.
So it is the Witney Community Stadium.
There you go. the Witney Community Stadium. So that is going to be the name of the Witney ATP, the unofficial name of Witney's ground for the rest of this season. And and I think that actually sums up the club perfectly, community, which is what it's all about. Final word from you. If there are people watching this today or maybe watching it back in the next couple of days and they haven't been to a Witney game yet, we're getting over 100 most times. What would you say to them to encourage them to come along and have a look at what's going on?
Well, I'd say that it's a fantastic venue. I'd like to say that we would entertain you with the football that we play. It's a lovely atmosphere. There's hot drinks, there's food. We're working really closely with Waits. They put on some fantastic gourmet sausage rolls.
I'll be there, no?
Yeah, you'll be enjoying that. Yeah, the bacon rolls. But yeah, the support's amazing. It's just a lovely environment to be around. It's a great atmosphere. So yeah, and hopefully enjoy the football if you come as well.
Brilliant. Ben, thank you very much for coming in.
Kieren.
A big thank you also. He does get a lot of stick, but a big thank you to Dan Smith, actually, who's the cameraman, our cameraman. We've given him a pay rise. He now gets 10 pence a week, and he brings you all that footage every week. Sorry, Dan. And it's really good footage, isn't it? He does some interviews after the game. We'll continue to follow Witney Town this year. It's kind of a little project that Darryl and I wanted to follow from the start. It's been a really exciting start to the season, and we're halfway through, and hopefully we'll see Witney Town progressing in the Cup, and who knows, maybe getting that promotion into Division 1 next year. Right, we're going to change codes now. We're going to switch from the round ball to the oval ball, and Chinner, who are obviously playing in the Championship Rugby, which is the second tier of English rugby. They've had a bit of a break recently with the shenanigans over the Prem Cup that they weren't allowed into, but they did return to action last weekend. It was actually on Friday. They had the long trip down to Truro to take on the Cornish Pirates. Cornish Pirates were a full-time side, and Chinner gave them a real run for the money, and we've got some highlights of that game for you here now. There you go. Chinner losing 15-13 away to the Cornish Pirates on Friday evening. And as was the case in the Oxford City game, there was a little bit of controversy, actually, because when Chinner were 13-10 in front, they scored what they believed to be a perfectly good try. It was a charge down. The referee, though, deemed it to be a knock-on, and the try was disallowed, and that allowed the Cornish Pirates to eventually edge to a 15-13 victory, but a really, really close game, and again a really good performance from Chinner. They are back at Kingsley Road this Saturday. They're entertaining Doncaster at Kingsley Road. Get yourself down there if you're a rugby fan, or even if you're not a rugby fan, you just want to see a little bit of top flight, top quality sport, because it really is, as you and I can both allude to, it really is a very, very fast and very skillful game. And yeah, Nick Easter is certainly working wonders down there at Kingsley Road.
Yep, and thanks again to Ben Reardon. Really enjoyed that interview. Well done. Thank you, Kdog. That was excellent. And obviously that exclusive, which really proud here at Ox Sports Unleashed that we can bring that to you. And that probably gives me a good idea, good chance to actually say, if you've got any clips, any highlights, a sport that you've been to in the last 7 days, please send your clips to us at our normal email address at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. That's oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. We will definitely use them because it will be good to see. And again, if you want to be interviewed on the show, please get in contact with us, and it's the same email address, so please do contact us if you wish to. That takes us from the oval ball to the puck, and the Oxford City Stars, after winning not this last week, the week before, could they continue with that winning formula? Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, as they fell 5-1 loss against the Slough Jets, with Wilson being the only scorer. But those results are coming down, and they seem to be getting a little bit more confident as the season goes on. So if you want to get down to the Ox Pens to watch any Oxford City Stars ice hockey, please do, because it's great entertainment. And there you go, they've got a real tough one on Sunday, the 8th of December, with a face-off at 6:15 against the Streatham Redhawks. Decent side, I have to say, having seen them before. Yeah. And I think in the last encounter, it was 15-1 to Streatham. So
but it's only going to get better.
It can only get better on that side of things. So that takes us round to our normal results roundup of all the local football, rugby and hockey results, and we've got that for you now. No, we haven't, because the producer's shaking his head. So, but he's definitely going to get that very shortly.
We don't just throw this together.
We don't just throw this together. Oh, yes, we do. And he'll nod to me when we've got those.
At least we haven't gone off air like we did last week. Because that was quite
we've
funny.
Stayed on air. Yeah. There's no Patrick Lock
Patrick
here.
Needed to put another pound on the meter, didn't he?
Oh no, we're definitely going to do the results. We're going to do the results. And have we got them for them now? Oh, just loading up. So we could go to the tables and upcoming fixtures if you'd like us to, Mr. Producer. I'm very happy to go down that route as well.
Can't get the staff.
We can't get the staff.
Let's do the league table.
Let's do the league table. That's fine. We'll just go there.
That was seamless. Nobody would notice that.
Absolutely seamless.
Nobody noticed.
Oh, there we are. Look.
Right, so there we are. The league table is the EFL Championship. Oxford United picking up a 1-1 draw against Millwall at the Castad on Saturday. That's gone too quickly. I think that was 17th, but the producer's done that quite quickly. Oxford City out of the relegation zone after that 4-1 win over Farsley Celtic. They've leapfrogged them as well. No league game for City this weekend. They're in FA Trophy action. Into the Southern League Premier Division Central, Banbury United's poor run continues. They've dropped down to 14th place now with 6 wins, 23 points. They lost to Lowestoft at the flooded Banbury Plant Hire Community Stadium, but it wasn't flooded, so that's down to 14th. They are at home to Kettering this week. And in Division 1 South, 5-0 defeat for Didcot Town away at Mousehole. Not Mousehole, Mousehole. They are in 14th place in the Division 1 South. And Division 1 Central, Tame United still doing really well, aren't they? In the playoff places, 5th place with 33 points from their 16 games. But again, no such luck down at the other end of the table. Northley, unfortunately, still propping up the table after their defeat last weekend. And Kidlington also in the relegation zone. 12 points from 16 games so far. Into the Women's National League Southern Division, Oxford United have dropped down a place from last week. They are in 4th place, but still in a handy position. 7 points off the lead, but 22 points from their 12 games so far. In Division 1 South West of the National League, Abingdon United are in 9th place. And if we move on to the regional Southern Regional League, Oxford City still right up there in second place, level on points with Ascot United, although they have played 2 games more than the Berkshire side.
I believe we now may be going to the results rather than the upcoming fixtures. So, as I've said before, where can you get this? You can't get this anywhere else. A full roundup of football, rugby and hockey results. And we have definitely got it for you now.
Well, that will teach you to big up the local results, Darryl, because most of those were last week's results. Apologies for that.
It's like a repeat, isn't it?
Yeah, we repeated last week's results. So, yeah, apologies for that. That's another 5p off Dan's wages.
Oh, I did it.
But most of the football results were the right ones, apart from the rugby. Unfortunately, that was the week before. But and there were no hockey results. We will try and get that sorted for next week. It just goes to show again, doesn't it, that we are live and we do just throw this together. We really do.
I think it's a good shout out because look, we are all volunteers, so we're doing.
So we
this
can't
all
really
in
sack him, can we?
Not really.
No.
We're all doing this in our spare time, so obviously our ultimate goal is to get the subscribers up to that magical figure where we can monetize and put some money back into grassroots sports in Oxfordshire. That has always been our ultimate goal, and like I say, we can only do that with your help, subscribing and actually showcasing a sport that we haven't shown yet on Ox Sports Unleashed. We've been doing triathlon on last week, dodgeball,
snooker coming
up in the new year, hopefully netball as well. So lots of sports that we haven't yet covered. So if you're participating in one of those sports that we have not shown yet, please do get in contact with us because we really do want to showcase your sport. And that means we could do an interview on Zoom or
challenge Kdog.
You could do a challenge, whatever it might be. Please do get in contact. There it is. Send our clips. Anything to oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. That's oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. And we will use it because we want to showcase your sport. So, what did you think of tonight's episode?
It was decent, wasn't it? It was decent. I thought the interview was good. It speaks really well, Ben, doesn't he, actually? And we did have an exclusive, and that was something that not even Ben knew the answer to. We had... I let the cat out the bag, didn't I? The cat out the jiffy bag. It wasn't a golden envelope. It was just a knackered old jiffy bag that Woodsy found behind the bar. It's gone. Oh, Ben's taken it with him.
It's gone.
So, yeah, do get down to Whitley Town on Saturday. The forecast isn't great for the weekend. It's going to be quite blowy, I think. But as Ben said, you get a very good welcome, good food, good football, and a programme. So it's a really decent game to go and watch. And as Ben alluded to, it's a very young side, apart from maybe Chris Allen and Ben himself, but really worth getting down there because it's the start of something new and hopefully the start of something special. I know there are big plans ahead over the next couple of years, and we will obviously, we're almost partners, aren't we, of Whitley Town, and anything that we can announce, we will announce with you. We'll get Paul Lyon back in at some point in the new year and bring you some more news from Whitley Town. Good luck to them on Saturday against Oxford Irish. Let's hope they have the luck of the Irish on Saturday.
Absolutely. It's great, isn't it? The story, Chris Allen, turning up and at all training sessions is like he's out for a contract. I think that just absolutely typifies perhaps Whitley Town FC. And
I still love the yellow card though.
It was good.
It wasn't a handball.
It wasn't a handball. I did like the
shows he cares.
Yeah,
shows
absolutely. Heart on sleeve and all that.
Absolutely.
So that just about wraps up this week's edition of Ox Sports Unleashed. Thank you for joining us live on this. Oh, we're going to do upcoming fixtures, are we? I thought we were going to do those before the result. See, the running order's just gone absolutely bonkers tonight. But we'll do some upcoming fixtures for you because
we've still got about 7 minutes before the hour.
Yeah, okay. We'll do the upcoming fixtures, Mr. Producer.
Let's make this last.
Here we go.
Make this last 7 minutes.
Oxford United away. A bit of a journey down to Plymouth Argyle, 3:00 in the EFL Championship. The FA Trophy third round, Oxford City at home against Hadley, also at the M Group Stadium at
4
3
rounds
p.m.
from Wembley.
4 rounds from Wembley, as we've said. And then into the Southern League Premier Central, Banbury United at home to Kettering Town. Hopefully the rain doesn't cause a bit of a problem at the Plant Hire Community Stadium. And in the Southern League Division 1 South, Didcot Town also at home against Bishop's Cleeve at 3 p.m. at the Loop Meadow Stadium. And moving on to
eventually
the Southern League Division 1 Central, Kidlington at home against Aylesbury United. North Lee, they're all at home this week actually. North Lee against Hertford Town, 3 p.m. at Ensham Park, and Tame United, Stopfold, this time I got it right, Meadowview Park, all 3 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday the 7th of December. In the Women's National League Southern Division, Oxford United home tie pretty much again Bristol Rovers, that's a 1 p.m. start at the M Group Stadium. And the Women's National League Division 1 South West, Aberdeen United host Bridgewater United. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff at the North Court. And in the Southern Regional Women's Football League Premier Division, Oxford City are on their travels at Badshot Lee. And that's a 2 p.m. start. So quite a lot of home games this week. So if you can get down to any of those stadiums to support those teams, will be absolutely brilliant, and I'd love to see you. And there's some, I think there's a few going to North Lee this weekend,
including possibly the current producer, maybe.
Possibly the current producer. Yeah.
You need to take your galoshes and your wind cheater with you.
Yeah,
it's going to be a bit blowy, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that does just about. Oh, I've got a thumbs up from Mr. Producer. That does wrap up this episode of Ox Sports Unleashed. Thanks for joining us on quite a miserable Thursday evening. The night or the week that Witney Town Football Club named their ground the Witney Community Stadium, and I think that was very apt indeed.
Absolutely.
Please join us again next week where we'll unleash some more Ox Sports. It's good night from me.
See ya.